Okay, so we are still on Monday, September 14th here, and I just want to introduce the last two activities for today. The main lesson is done from this first video, but I have two more things for you to work on today. First is to make sure you're able to set up a login for this AP site, and I'm going to do some homework, maybe some tests on this site, so you need to be able to get into it. So it's on our Schoology page here down at the bottom, but I made a direct link to it here, so you can just click in. And then basically here's the site. You'll have to set up an account, so make sure you remember this password, right? Maybe write it down, put it somewhere, and then once you're in there, you can there'll be a spot to put a join code, and you want to use this join code to join our class. And again, there won't be much in there for you to do now, but I just wanted to make sure that you were in there and could register, and then I'll be able to see everybody. And if you don't get in, I'll probably reach out to you and make sure you're able to figure it out. All right, so after that, any extra time you have today, the main homework for this first chapter is going to be a set of programs. And so usually each chapter I do a set of anywhere from, I don't know, 3 to 10 programs for you to work on kind of as we're learning the content. This is just to practice the skills. So much of this class is learning how to program, so there'll be sets each chapter. So if you click this link, I made a separate folder for them so that they'll all be in the same spot, but I made a link to it, so if you click here, it'll just take you right down into here. So we'll go on in, and here's the ones for chapter 1. And it's mostly print statements, so all we're really learning for commands this chapter is print statements. So you'll need that same main method, same class heading, and then once you have that, then you'll just type in different print statements for these different programming exercises. All right, and so you can see there's a bunch of different programs, chapter 1, program 2, program 3, 4, 5, and then after that they become optional. Okay, so these are kind of optional cool ones if you get some time. This one's really pretty fun. Kids have fun with this, is you can actually make something pop up on so instead of just printing to the screen, you can actually make a pop-up window, which is kind of cool. It's not a lot of code. And then I think they have some more advanced versions of it here where you can actually get some input from the user and everything. So it's kind of fun, and you can run with it. If you look up how to use JOption pane, just Google something like Java JOption pane examples. You can find a bunch of examples of using these little option menus. So that's kind of a fun thing to do if you have extra time. The other one I should probably highlight is I'm going to do one of these each chapter. So it's an open-ended. So basically take the concept we've learned from the chapter and make whatever you want, right? So I want you to be creative. I want you to have fun with this. So one of the programs each chapter will be just make up your own thing. As long as it uses the print statements or something we learned this chapter, I'm pretty loose on this, right? If you wanted to, make a JOption pane one and turn that in as your program number 5, you can kind of do whatever you want. All right, so one more time, I'm going to get started with chapter 1, program 1 with you, just in case you need a little refresher from that hello world thing. So the first thing is you got to load. So hopefully you've got that set up, and for me it's just on my desktop here. So I'm going to double click into Eclipse, and you can use pretty much any version of Eclipse. Remember, if you're really having a hard time getting Eclipse set up, you can type these out in a Word document or use that. There's online editor out on Schoology. So there's a link to that. If you're really stuck, you can use that online editor. Oh, I forgot to say there, when I load it up, make sure you point it to your workspace. So a workspace is just a folder. So for me, I use this workspace complete on my desktop, but in theory, you could put a folder anywhere. And when you create your stuff, that's where the files go. So, here's my chapter 1 programs, and every time I make a new program, it'll be in chapter 1 programs, source, and programs, right? So each time I make a new one, it'll go right in there. All right, and I'm actually gonna, so let's see. I should have deleted this ahead of time. All right, so I'm in my chapter 1 programs, source. I'm just gonna delete this one, sorry. Because that's what I want to make is when you create these, in the past it works pretty well if you just name them chapter 1, program 1, chapter 1, program 2, etc. Okay, so if that's not clear, make a different .java file for each one of these programs, right? Make one for each one, and just name it like chapter 1 program 1. Okay, so inside of my chapter 1 programs, inside of my package, I'm going to right click or just go file and new. And again, we're making a class that's a single Java program. Chapter 1 program 1. All right, and hit finish. Okay, and so it by default names your class the same thing as the .java, so that's a good thing because we want those to match, right? And it doesn't put the curly brace on the second line there, so I'm going to actually do that because that's much the way Mr. Westpatal likes it. All right, so now we just have to do that main method, and we have to type that heading exactly right. Public static void main string args, right? So if you look back to your previous examples, right? If you have like a hello world program or whatever, you can look back there if you need it. You can copy and paste, but when you're first learning, I would encourage you to type it out at least a couple times, right? So you start to get the hang of it. I'm gonna make it full. So until you know it, get practice typing out public static void main string bracket thing args. Okay, and again, you don't have to really know a lot about what that means other than like the method is called main, and that's what it's going to look for when you hit go. All right, and so now I'm just going to do my system out print. So system.out, and sometimes the first time I type this, there's like an autocomplete feature, which is kind of nice, but it always bonks out the first time I do it. So you can actually see the different things, and you can tab complete them, I think. Print, ln, okay, and then I put in double quotes whatever I want here. So maybe I'll do 3 of my friends, right? And then just kind of go from there. All right, and then you can hit play up here to make it run and see if it's working. You can see that it's going okay there. One thing to watch for is if you don't type this exactly right, it's not going to work great. So I'm going to mess this up and make an uppercase M there. Okay, and so I get an error saying main method not found. You might sometimes get a different program to run. So like if it can't, so if I name this bubbles or something like that, let's see, it might run the last program that you successfully ran. So let me see if I can do this. I'm going to run my flag program, which I know works here. So it spit out the flag down there. You can see it. And then I'm going to go back to my chapter 1 program 1, which is not working here. And I think if I run it, yeah, it actually runs the American flag program. So the reason is it's looking for main here and it can't find one. So because it can't find one, it just runs the last main that worked, which was the American flag one. So if you ever get something like that where it seems like it's running not the right program, it's because your main heading isn't right. And again, it has to be exactly right. If you, geez, I don't know if you just had arg here, that might work, but let's see what happens. Yeah, that actually works. Interesting. What else? Maybe if I took this off. To be honest, this is how I program a lot, is I just play around and figure things out. So let's see now. Yeah, so now it doesn't work. You have to have the bracket there. So at any rate, type it exactly the same, right? And that'll get you the start for program 1. So these will be due at the end of the chapter, right around the time we take the test. So be working ahead, right? Don't wait till the very end. Otherwise, you'll be studying for the test and doing the programs at the same time. So knock them out pretty quick. These first ones should go pretty quick because they're all print statements, right? And again, I encourage you to be creative in experimenting here. Like this one says print a house, but if you want to make your own design, do whatever you want, right? If you want to do a flag or some other design, I'm okay with that, right? As long as you understand the concept, you can do something slightly different if you want, right? And in chapter 1, program 5 is definitely one for you to be open-ended and creative. All right, that's it. As always, if you're struggling or something's not working, send me an email. You can email me your code or take a picture of it or something, and I can get back if you need help, because oftentimes it is just one minor thing, like just one letter wrong or one uppercase wrong or something. So let me know if you get stuck, and I can get you unstuck pretty quick. All right, that is all. Good luck, and I hope you have fun with this.